Ever wonder why a simple task magically stretches to fill your entire day? The answer is you're not lazy, but rather you're just trapped in Parkinson's law. Now, this law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion, and understanding it could completely change how you work. Your procrastination levels just thrive. If you want to do a task within the span of a week, you'll probably start it on day 6, and it's just something that could take as little as 30 minutes to an hour, but you decided that you would rather give it an entire week to sit and marinate over what exactly you should do rather than get to it. And then what happens is you allow the perfectionism to sneak in, meaning you allow more time for tweaking even when it's unnecessary, and this leads to mental fatigue because you're dragging out something that could have been done in way less time than you give it. So how can we overcome Parkinson's law? Step 1. Set artificial deadlines. If you have a task that you usually give yourself 3 hours for, try and finish it in 90 minutes. Now, with this time constraint, you may not actually finish that task, but you would actually get a lot more done in the time constraint that you've given than you would have thought possible. So instead of finishing the task up in the 90 minutes, you would just require 100 minutes. But it's impossible to know a lesson until you try it out. Step 2. Time blocking. Now this is where you schedule a task into fixed slots of time, and you work according to when the time slot starts and ends, even if you're not done with the task. This complements your ability to boost focus and efficiency. It helps you free up a lot more time and work under constraints, forcing you to finish up the tasks much faster and quicker than you would have thought possible. For example, instead of creating a work on project session, it's much more efficient and productive to schedule project draft from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Step 3. Trim the unnecessary work. When the time is limited, you naturally cut out fluff such as endless revisions or obsessing over tiny details, and it's much better to get around to doing the task in its simplest version possible. You get the job done as opposed to prioritizing unnecessary perfectionism. Step 4. Use the 2-minute rule. Now this is the easiest change you can make, wherein if a task requires less than 2 minutes, just do it immediately as opposed to piling it up on the calendar for a later time in the day. Now, what Parkinson's law reveals is the work stretches to fill out time if we allow it. So by intentionally working under constraints, you can speed up your workflow, reduce procrastination, and ultimately finish tasks with less mental fatigue. Instead of fighting the clock, you use it to your advantage.